some function. Now, if you'll notice, probably end of day yesterday, so the market was down big yesterday, but end of day yesterday, like, it's hard to see it on the chart, but man, there was like an invisible hand that was like holding up the market. Like, it was like the market would just try to roll over a little bit and then boom. And then it'd fade off at the VWAP, and then like it looks like you're gonna fade off, and then boom, like you were getting these like monster candles just coming out of nowhere. You were definitely finding just like a little bit of that, that Federal Reserve put, I'd call it, in the market. But, trends don't last forever. Like, we've been riding up the 20 SMA now for months. We may break under it and, finally start a little bit more of a pullback. It doesn't necessarily mean so. Price will tell us, all that's going on here. But I think it is something to be aware of. But we are on some support. On the SPY, you're also sitting on the 200 SMA. So you're on we're on like multiple levels of support. If we got down into the 50 SMA or something like that would be awesome. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to. But a deeper pullback would really allow us to reset some charts and really have some more fun. As what's happened with the market is like there are a subset of stocks that have gotten so extended, and we've got to just keep playing them higher and higher and higher. And as they get higher and higher and higher, obviously there's more and more inherent risk. So if we can pull back a little bit, I think sometimes you're going to have just a lot better RR ratios. And if we can get that, I think things are going to be good. Now, when the market gets a little loose like this, you don't have to get, too crazy with your watch list. You can see here, what do you notice here? Airlines, cruise lines getting shemangled today, all right? Airlines, cruise lines getting shemangled today. So these are going to be in play again. RCL is now breaking under its 50 SMA here. Man, it's been drifting down from the 80s. At some point, we'll probably get a good long on them. But right now, the trend is definitely down. So I put that on your watch list. NCLH, another one that's breaking under the 50 SMA. Watch these ones. If they squeeze up at the open, like we'll probably get a refade in them. Because they're down so many days in a row, I wouldn't try to necessarily short them I wouldn't try to short them like right at the open. But if they do squeeze higher, like I do think we're gonna get a little pizza party on this. Let's take a look at some of these airlines. Good. Look, see this thing? Like, you still got a little bit more room to go on these. AAL, they're all sitting on some support, so it's like a tweener. They're sitting on some support, but the intraday price action and the price action that you're seeing is lower. So you're getting like kind of like a weird, kind of weird dichotomy of they're oversold enough to bounce, but the price action is so weak that like they're just fading off. So I definitely have these still on watch list for shorts, but they got to squeeze up a little bit. Like, we can't short them at lows. Now let's talk about this. If the market starts to go, like, what are some plays that we can look to the long side? I like this pen. It's sitting on a nice support zone over here. Like, if the market starts to push today, I think pen's going to give us a nice. It's going to give us a really good location on that one. Hey, Gabriel, what's going on, baby? What's going on? What are you guys all watching? Yeah, INO is on watch today, but I'm only looking at this one now for a potential short. I think if this thing pushes to like 30, that's a good spot. Like, if this thing pushes to 30, we'll take this thing down. If it's on weakness, the trend could keep going for a while. Like, just because it's up a few days in a row doesn't necessarily make it a short. When it starts to go parabolic, when it starts to get really, really extended, that's when you want to start looking at these things for potential short. I think maybe around the 30 spot, we'll get something over here. Man, this thing used to be like $1, right? This is wild. The volume on it is just too hard. It's really like tricky to just come in and short it randomly too. Like you really need to get like a good spike out of it because you can't fight like 180 shares and 180 million shares in volume. Like it's just too much. So like I think INO, even NVAX, like these are both going to be shorts very soon. What I'm waiting for is that kind of speed up. I'm waiting for that speed up where they start to really, really push. You want them to start to go vertical. When you start to see that, that's when you're going to go. So like, typically for like a rubber band short, you need stochastics over 90. You want the candle to be completely outside the Bollinger Band. So we definitely are getting those. And then in general, right, like you want to see a distance between the 9 EMA and where it is at. So you're definitely getting those. But I want to see like that one big grand finale. Hey, Rick, what's up, baby? I want to see that grand finale. That's just like that massive spike, then that speed up. And that will allow us to get into a little bit of the goose and the gander. So add those two on the watch list for short. FSLY I do think is probably a long. So now that you got a couple days of sideways consolidation, it closed actually pretty well. Yeah, I think it's still a long. Ideally, like I wanted a nice pullback to the 9. That would have that's around 68. We got close to that 69 yesterday. Sometimes they don't pull back all the way. I mean, another day or two of sideways consolidation would be good, but I definitely think like the close on this was incredible. When you get a big close, I think that, when the market's down 700 points, you still get a big close on a stock. That's telling you something that, you're probably going to have more luck on the upside than the downside on this. And it's really hard to fight this volume. Like, it's amazing that some of these like stocks are just seeing like tens of millions of shares in volume. Like, when we started doing our trading boot camps, it was like the minimum volume threshold for a stock was like 300,000. And like if a stock did 1 million, we were like, oh man, that's awesome. Now you got all these stocks doing 10 million, 20 million, 100 million, like it's nothing. Like where's all this money coming from? Right? Who knows? But you can't fight this kind of volume. It does look pretty good. $7 billion market cap. It's in a good sweet spot still where it's got, like, even though it looks like it's gone up a lot in price, it's still just a $7 billion market cap. Like, it's still a baby in terms of, like, where it's at in its probably life cycle of a stock. These things can go way farther than you can imagine. So I do think that this one is got a chance on it. I like it. Now, yesterday, gold had a little bit of a tap back. You see a little bit of a tap back in gold. Nothing to be alarmed about. In general, when you get a multi-month breakout like this, Patrick, what's up, baby? When you get a multi-month breakout like this, you're going to have like a couple days of sideways consolidation where you tap back on support. So what's going to happen here is, JNUG was acting really weak yesterday, but it's sitting on some good, so you could see like this thing just dumped in midday. That's part of that has to do with just the market dumping itself, but it came back into that sweet spot, right into some support here. So I think today, like this thing is probably a long. You got a retracement from 106 down into the mid 90s. So I think that we're at a good sweet spot in this gold. Ideally, a day or two where it like kind of back and fills some sideways action over here over the breakout spot is good, and that should allow like JNUG or Nugget to start continuing up. The range on this was awesome. Put this on watch for today too. ZI, in the teeth of a meltdown yesterday, something was pushing this stock. You can see like it double bottomed around 47, and then it was pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And like you had a big close. So like while the market was retracing down, there was some action in this bad boy. If you see here, 52-ish, 51.80 is kind of the resistance, from the last few days. if you can start to push over that level at some point today, like this thing is going to release. But in the meantime, like if we see any weakness on this, ideally, like if you can get this thing, I don't think you get back down to 48, but like you can get a quick dump on this thing, right? We can use that kind of 48s as a way to manage our risk. I think this one's got a chance. Like there was a good look to this. And if you're watching it yesterday, like it came out of nowhere and it just started cooking and booking. And it was really, really pushing. Like it's, this is top of the list. What do you think? Yeah. Cool. Let me see here. Yeah, everybody's asked about Nikola. Nikola's, you know what? It closed really well yesterday. It's opening weak. We'll see how it rebounds. As long as it hangs out, kind of over this 9 EMA here, it's still bullish. But it is kind of just grinding. Yesterday would have probably been a beast yesterday if the market just wasn't crashing on everybody's nuts. We'll see how this it's gapping down like $2 today. We'll see how it gets bought up. If it does, we'll take a shot at it. The close yesterday was pretty hot. Like I was staring at this thing, around 71, but the market was pushing down hard. So I was like, I don't think I should take it. And then it was like, next thing you know, it like popped like $5, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, but it looks pretty good. I'd keep it on watch. Good. What's up, Cody? How you doing? Hey, Kim, how you doing? Yeah, let's take a look at mRNA. So, the other vaccine stocks are going, all right? And this mRNA has just been, let's just say it's been troublesome. The chart is amazing. But when you trade it, it does not act amazing. It doesn't act like a friend. Friends don't treat each other the way mRNA treats people. Like every time you try to buy this thing intraday, the last like month, it pops up and then it just boom, just comes right back down. It needs a break and clear the 67. If it can hold that 67 spot and really build on it, then what you're going to have here is, then you're going to have some action on it. So what typically happens when a stock is stuck inside range, when a stock is stuck under range, every time it pops, it'll just get faded off. Till it clears and holds that kind of 67 mark. Let's look at like a 30-minute time frame. You can see here, like, till it clears and kind of holds over this, it just acts, it doesn't act like a good friend, I'll tell you that. I had it yesterday. It looked beautiful. I was in it. It was nice and romantic. And the next thing you know, it just, the rug gets pulled. You can see all this, like, right, this kind of zigzagginess. That's how stocks act when they're under resistance, right? The whole point of resistance is to resist. So when stocks are under resistance, they'll do that. I think today could be the day. I'm only interested in this if it can hang out over 67. Good. Hey, Rick, I don't believe, just because there's, a second wave of coronavirus, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll knock the market down anymore. That was probably like a once-in-a-lifetime event or confluence of things. You had an extended market. You had something that was unknown. The odds of us retesting pandemic lows is small. I would say like minimal, right? Who knows? You can. I mean, if it starts to go, it starts to go. But in general, like even if the second wave is 5 times worse than the first one, at this point, nobody gives a shit. You see in Florida, man, people are just rolling around like it's nothing. I walk in yesterday to a bar and I'm like, whoa. I brought my computer. I thought I was just minding my own business. My internet was out yesterday, and it was packed. It was packed, wall to wall. I was like, whoop. I walked in and then I was like, like I gotta go. I gotta go. The people were out there doing things, man. You didn't see a single mask. You don't see nothing around here. Florida's a lawless place, though. What are you gonna do? ZM, I don't know how to trade this because now that it's just grinding. Somebody just asked about ZM, guys. Now that it's just grinding like this, like it's just like, what do you do with it? I don't know. Like at some point it'll be a short, but like when it's grinding like that, it's not speeding up enough where you get that kind of parabolic, right? You get that just big parabolic push, that blow off top per se. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a short yet. I don't think so. I think, the other ones that we're watching are better. Roku is nice, though. What the fuck? Roku's pulled back, so you were at 134. Pulled back to 122. Like, that's a good spot right there. You're still in a range, but it was trading really nicely. So I do think, like, you'll get some good action on that. I'd add it today. Watch and see how this reacts around yesterday's lows. If you start to build over it, right? You start to build and kind of push over it, then you're going to have yourself some fun. All right. So that's the watch list. I didn't see any like hot earnings plays. Did you guys? Let me see here. Let's take a look. The other thing is like Roku was just trading really well. Yeah, everybody's asked about this Rad. Rad you could put on the watch list. It's more of a rangy stock. Retail stocks stink to trade, but you could add it if you want. Really, man. The shill, this one is actually nice. You're holding the 16th spot pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one and FMCI. These are called SPAC plays. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of these, start to go today. I think INO still got to speed up, though. The dips were just getting bought too aggressively. Ideally, like, you just need to see it really speed up, I think. Ideally. I mean, yeah, it can be, anything can be a short, but like that one just big push, like even APT is like too long in the tooth for me. Yeah, I can't play this one. When you get like that extended from your 9 EMA, what it's telling you is, right, that you're a little bit long in the tooth. It's got to pull back a little bit or retrace in some manner. So I usually just leave those alone. And this Kier has some news. Let's see what's up with this. Man, this thing sucks to trade, right? KBH, KB Homes, Home Builders. So this one's looking like it's gapping down on some type of news. Home Builders suck to trade, though. I've been trading home builders since in a decade. You only gapping down. All right, cool. So the list, we got the cruise lines. Keep those on watch. JNUG, INO, FSLY, especially if we can cook over 78 is going to be good. And I like this pen too for potential bounce today too. That's the list. And then ZI. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. What do you guys think? All right, good. Hey, when the market gets this volatile, make sure to cut down on the size if you find yourself like over trading or oversizing. Like yesterday, the market was whipping around in a volatile nature. When that happens, you want to really kind of narrow down the size if you can. Focus on better entries because you want to let the volatility pay you versus having too much size and letting the volatility shake you out. All right? Let's go do what we do. As always, I'll be in the chat room shredding, doing what needs to be done. Yesterday was a hot day. We caught that RCL like right off at the open, like men of honor. And and that paid the bills, and we had a couple other goodies. Let's go do it again. Yes. All right. Let's have some